The Shoebridge, do you have long?
I don't.
We are going to move on. As soon as you're finished, we can move on to another one.
All right, thank you, Chair.
Senator Shoebridge.
Thanks so much for your attendance. One of the questions that's been raised with me repeatedly by the community is the question of the government's commitment to a sustainable shipping service. What does the government mean by sustainable? What are the elements of sustainable?
So, Senator, I guess the first thing to say is a sustainable freight service would be one that operates commercially and doesn't require ongoing Commonwealth subsidy. To that end, a dedicated commercial sea freight service began in July of last year, July 2023, and we consider that that situation is currently stable.
So no government subsidy is sustainable just code for commercial?
I don't know, I'd agree with the word code, Senator, but there have been subsidies in the past and there aren't currently.
But the Norfolk Island community is very confused about the term sustainable, and they're concerned that it is just code for purely a for-profit freight service, but their concerns are valid because actually that's the government's view. It has to be a for-profit freight service, despite the difficulties they have with a small population, distance, difficulty with the port facility.
So I guess the difference, particularly from the middle of last year, is the acquisition by Neptune Pacific Direct Line, NPDL, of a dedicated vessel, MV Norfolk. One of the issues that was affecting the ability of the service to meet demand was both weather, as you would expect, but also vessel commitments elsewhere.
But then if for some reason that commercial provider decides it's not profitable and they cease providing that, what's the government's answer for Norfolk Island? They just get cut off?
So we would, I think, consider that on a case-by-case basis. As I say, there have been subsidies provided in the past, Senator, so that there aren't currently, but there have been in the past.
But that's hardly a plan from the government, is it, for Norfolk Island, to simply say, we'll just leave it to the market? That's not a plan. That's just an abdication of Commonwealth responsibility, isn't it? Just leave it to the market.
That's not what I said, Senator. Subsidies have been provided in the past where the service has not met the demand on island. But at present, with the acquisition of a dedicated vessel, the MV Norfolk, a regular shipping has been provided by NPDL since June 2023.
Have you had meetings on Norfolk Island with the community and explained to them what you mean by this term sustainable? Do you actually just mean commercial?
So there certainly have been public meetings held on island. Minister McBain held a shipping forum on island in 2023. And I'll check with my colleagues on more recent meetings.
There's been, Conor Gallen, Assistant Secretary, Norfolk Island and Mainland Territories Branch. There's been no recent meetings on island about shipping, no, with the community.
I mean, they're a small, isolated island community. If they're going to be left entirely to rely upon commercial freight and commercial shipping services, that's going to cripple their economy going forward, won't it? Have you looked at what the impact will be on the economy and just the ability to sustain the community on Norfolk Island from this sustainable/commercial arrangement?
Senator, our understanding is that the current service is meeting the demands of the community.
Well, the community have told me that there's no answer for large waste, there's no answer for bulk waste, there's no answer for getting machinery off-site, there's no answer for a whole series of problematic waste issues that they have. Have they told you that?
Senator, I do know that the council are aware of the issues and they're working with the various freight suppliers, including air freight, and looking at various options how to deal with the waste that is generated on island.
You're not going to air freight off a now broken, disused bulldozer, are you?
No, Senator.
They're the kind of problems they're dealing with. They're the kind of problems that won't have a commercial answer. What's the answer to the...
Well, I think, as Mr Garland said, it wasn't only a reference to air freight. The council, we understand the council is working with a number of freight providers to address the waste issue in particular.
To move to another point, because we're short of time, why was the port management tender cancelled?
Sorry, Senator, I don't have that detail in front of me.
Oh, sorry, is that the council?
So that would be the council. Was
Sorry,
that regarding the Bull Bay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the responsibility of the Norfolk Island Regional Council.
Not the department.
They didn't. The department had no role in that.
It's not our tender.
Are you aware of concerns that the port services are so substandard that they don't comply with basic Australian minimum standards?
At present, sort of the freight system is, as you'd be aware of, it's bulk break, a sort of a system. But I think what you may be referring to is the Bull Bay as well as cascade analysis of looking at the roll-on, roll-off sort of options analysis.
Yeah. Are you going to work with the council and the community? Are there resources being put aside to help provide a freight solution? Or are you simply saying it's a matter for the council and for a commercial provider?
Sorry, Senator. There is a freight solution already on island that we haven't, or I haven't received any complaints about the current shipping freight on island. We are doing investments in cascade infrastructure to improve the ability for freight to be loaded and unloaded by sea freight.
Just because I note the time, and I think the committee's been quite indulgent, and I thank them. Could I ask about is there currently a subsidy for air freight though?
It's underwritten, the sort of passenger services.
So, yeah, there is a subsidy for air freight and we underwrite passenger flight services.
All right. Have you looked at how that impacts with the shipping service? Have you taken a sort of system approach to see whether or not the air freight subsidy might actually make it harder to provide a commercial shipping service? So you're looking at it as an ecosystem?
Yeah, we can take that on notice and check. So.
All right. Thanks very much. Thanks, Chair.
Righto. Thank you. And if that's the case, thank you very much to the good folk on Norfolk Island. And we will now move to Air Services Australia. Senator Waters, you have been... you can open the batting.
Thank you very much.
Have you got long? Do you have many?
No. Depends on their answers.
You done? Yeah.
Yeah, we're on time. We're only half an hour behind now. Where's Jim going? Only half an hour behind.
And you